What makes David the greatest king who ever lived, and how can we learn to be like him? Thing number one from the passage that we read today: David is obedient to God even when that means not doing certain good things. God will at times tell us not to do things that we think are really great and we should definitely do them. One of the reasons I think that we have to learn this lesson is because there are so many good things in the world around us. There are so many people that we could bless and serve. The need around us is overwhelming. We have to learn to discern what particular thing God is calling us to concentrate our energy, our time, and our strength on. Here, David wants to build a temple, and that's an amazing thing to want to do for God, and yet God stops him. He says, "No, David, this isn't for you. I have this task for somebody else." Part of, I think, maturing in Christ as his follower is learning to hear his voice and hear his direction. He will tell us sometimes to go to some places, and therefore, by definition, what that means is we can't go everywhere else. One of the things that I'm called to is I'm called to Watford, and I know that. And so that means I can't just go travelling all over the world all the time. I have to concentrate my energy in this particular place. And so we each have to learn, first of all, what to say yes to that God is asking us to do, but also what is it that he's saying no to? Not because he doesn't want that thing done. He did want a temple. He just wanted somebody else to do that particular task. David has learned to be in tune with God in that way. The second thing we learn from David in this passage is that David is willing to set Solomon up to win. Solomon got to do something David really wanted to do: build a temple. Oh my word, that would have been amazing. David had the dreams, he had the plans, it was his idea, and yet Solomon was the one who got to carry it out. If I was David, probably I would have felt a tiny bit resentful of Solomon, and I certainly would not have saved all the money for him and given him the plans. David basically makes Solomon the easiest, if you've ever watched Grand Designs, it's the easiest grand design ever for Solomon. He's got a plan, he's got loads of money, boom, he just gets to build it. That's because David did all the hard work in the background. And one lesson for us to learn from that is who around us can we support? Who around us can we encourage? They might get to do something that, gosh, we really wish that was us. We really wish we could do that. And either we can resent that and we can just kind of hope that they fail or trip up, or we can serve them. Not that they might look good, but that God's name might be glorified, because ultimately that was the purpose of the temple. And then the third thing about David that I love from this passage and is really revealing about him is in verse 14 of chapter 29, David says, "But who am I and who are my people that we should be able to give as generously as this? Everything comes from you, and we have given you only what comes from your hand." Everything comes from you, and we've given you only what's from your hand. What's that? That's David acknowledging before God that the only good things we ever give him are things that he's given us first. And to know that at the end of your life, when you have been this dominant king who has won every victory in all the battles, and that shows humility. And we can echo and follow David in this, that we might know all the good things we ever give to God, every sacrifice you ever make, is only because he has blessed us in the first place.